The Shack is back. Greetings, Koopalings. My name is Donnie Reese, and welcome back to PSVG's Nintendo Shack, your weekly dose of Nintendo news and coverage. I am joined here every week in the Shack with my Nintendo sis, Caroline. What's up?
What's up?
How you doing?
How's it going?
Yeah?
Awkward introductions, and how are you doing? Doing fine. Just living the dream in the new house and forfeiting the old apartment and
The mansions?
It's something to do every day.
Do you have a detached garage with like
No,
a hallway that you can walk over? Do you have like a bridge from your big house to your little house?
I wish.
Do you have a pool house?
No.
Okay. I just didn't know. I mean, I'm trying to paint the picture.
We don't even have a pool in our community.
Of the PSVG Fortress. Oh, how dire. That's...
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
We have my grandparents for that. My mom and dad.
Nice.
We say grandparents because we're getting used to that. So.
Yeah. Yep.
What's up?
My week's been a week. It's just kind of going as WrestleMania. This is a long week. So,
Yeah.
I finally got Yoshi, which we're going to talk about here in a minute, with Kevin. What's up, dude?
Dude!
Welcome back to the Nintendo Shack. Welcome back. What is only like 80 episodes later you finally appear?
Yeah, you can only beg me and plead with me so much, Donnie, and eventually I will give in.
Eventually cave.
Yeah.
Just be a founding member, a pillar of the Nintendo Shack. And it's like he barely even comes.
You know what? As my back was hurting from carrying the show so much that I had to kind of go to the physical therapy and take care of it and stuff like that. But no, I'm happy to be back. Talk some strictly Nintendo news without having you yell at me for doing that. So yeah, we're here.
This is PSVG the rerun, where we're just going to talk about Nintendo news. It's like the exact same stuff that they talked about on Sunday. We're going to talk about here. So, Caroline, you have you've prepared a haiku for our patron spotlight this week.
Yeah, so I like the idea of the haikus because Nintendo's a Japanese company. Haikus are Japanese. Let's kind of, show the love. So our spotlight this week is on our patron, our patron, Joel Voss, my friend, Professor Switch. He has been very kind and generous for several months now, since we started Patreon pretty much. And this is the haiku for Joel this week. Professor by day, but he's a gamer outside class. Talk about class.
Nice. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to try this out. We'll see how good Caroline, how much she can keep it up. But instead of just reading off every patron every week, like we've been doing for the last 30 weeks, we're going to try to spice it up a little, raise the bar. See if PSVG land, you're going to come meet the standard. You're going to do a rap, Kev?
Stay tuned for that.
As long as he gets the Boston accent coming out, the Boston.
All he comes out when he raps
from Boston.
He just becomes.
Yeah, but it's literally like the kind of same.
As soon as he starts to get going, it's just Marky Mark, like right out, just bam.
Oh, absolutely.
What? No.
Speaking of Patreon, which you can support us at patreon.com/PSVG. This month we posted our giveaway. We had to take it down because he yelled at us immediately about doing a giveaway. But this month we're giving away, or we're adding to the Patreon box, if you want to have it, a PSVG polo shirt, which are snappy and snazzy. Half the staff didn't even have them yet, so they're like pretty pissed. They're like, what the hell, Donnie?
When are we meeting up and when am I getting my stuff?
Your stuff's been sitting in my kitchen for weeks. You gotta
just like Josh's. Josh is in a bag.
There you go.
In my room.
Don't at me, bro.
I'm just saying you're holding them hostage.
So
I think it's more, when are you going to go get it?
There you go. Or invite me over for dinner. She's the one at the mansion.
Send your driver to take you and go pick it up.
My driver.
So we've got the polo shirt. We've got a code for Anthem. We have 6 months of Game Pass. We have Yakuza 6 or a gift card of your choice. That's all in our Patreon giveaway box right now. So every month, it doesn't matter what level you support us at, we throw all the names in the randomizer, we click the mouse button, somebody gets a prize. So that's a cool way. That's a cool thing that you get back, you get to enter in, plus you get DLC. What I've been told by more than a few people in the past couple weeks, the best PSVG podcast we have. I have multiple messages. Everybody loves DLC, so I'm excited that that's kind of catching on. Kind of a spiritual successor, if you will, to
I'm
OT.
kind of embarrassed. Delvin was sending me messages. He's like, so I'm just now listening to episode 3.
I got a few of those myself.
It's ironic that everyone thinks the best show we do has nothing to do with what we normally do.
That's true.
So
there's nothing to do with video games at all.
Let's talk about Donnie's dirty escapades.
That's true. Before we get into what we've been playing this week, I have to reference that apparently Kevin's got beef. Like, me and Kevin have issues. I was told I was being called out. He's coming here to call me out on my own show. Now, I'm going to have a little fun with this, but before Kevin airs, I guess, my dirty laundry, I don't understand why I solicit such a response from Kevin. He didn't call anybody else out on anything, ever. Like, it's just a Donnie thing.
If you recall, you are the king of the blanket statements. And I think that's why.
That's true.
I think that's why.
Well, I've tried really hard to. I think I've matured and evolved since like the first 100 PSVGs.
You have, and I think that's the issue. Is what I'm calling back is from the first 100 PSVGs. So
gotcha. Let's have it.
So for those of you who don't recall or haven't been listening this whole time, Donnie last week was really super excited, foaming at the mouth for Persona 5 to hit the Nintendo Switch. Talked about, give me the collector's edition, give me all the statues, give me all the stuff.
I need stuff.
Rewind back to tape. Donnie played Persona 5 for like a hot minute and put it down.
Did he really?
He did. And I get it. Listen,
That's not
I get
true.
it. No, it is true.
No, it's not.
You probably talked about it once or twice on a podcast, and you said you don't have time for this. You can't deal with this. It's taking way too long to do stuff. I'm not going to go back and search the exact records.
I tried. I couldn't find it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I was like, because I fully remember it. And
I went back to the release date, but like it came out right around Switch, and I think it's on like a Game of the Year, like a recap show. I can't find it. I tried.
It might be, yeah. But yeah, you were jazzed about Persona 5, don't get me wrong, but then you started to play it and you seemed to be down on it really quick. Now, you may not have disliked the game, you just kind of dropped it really quick.
That's true.
And it might have been because of what else you were playing, whatever the case is. So I just find it ironic that you're super pumped to pay full retail again for the same game you already had.
Better than retail.
And yes, it's on the go, so I get that appeal to an extent, but not the give me all the statues extent, because you could be buying statues for the last 2 years since that game came out.
I actually can't, because they're not out yet. I'm sure
Play Asia has 30 of them in Karo.
I've bought the pops. There's only 2 actually.
Oh, he wants the pops. He's not a dedicated like me checking for the Japanese imports every single morning.
He's not doing a double mortgage on his house to refinance.
That's true.
I
don't have a room for statues, Caroline. So yeah,
I can't wait. They're going to be right behind me, right here. I've already bought the shelves. It's going to be great.
So I guess my beef was just you were so excited for it. It's like, dude, you already had your shot. You didn't like it, and now you're excited all over again. Me, I'm excited because I didn't jump on it. So if I do jump in on Persona, which I don't know if I'll jump on it at launch, but I do want to play it, which I could just as well get at my PS4. It's fine. I'm excited to play it, but I'm not foaming at the mouth, and I wouldn't think I'd be foaming at the mouth to play again something I already played and wasn't crazy about.
Okay, well, allow me to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Snap.
I distinctly remember the show, and I remember my thoughts on it because Seth and Kyle were on the show, and I distinctly remember talking with Kyle because one of the things that was brought up by one of the big Switch reviewers at the time, I think she works for GameSpot now, but she was on the Jimquisition, which is that channel that, is it Jim Sterling?
Jim Sterling.
Yeah, he had her review it. And I remember in her review, she brought up the fact that she felt like Persona was missing something not being available on a portable. And we had like a whole segment of a show dedicated to whether or not that was a fair critique and whether or not it was valid. And in discussing Persona 5 when I bought it, because if you do remember, I did purchase it. I did buy the Take Your Heart edition. I still have my bag. The only thing I got rid of was the game and the Steelbook because it was selling for outrageous prices. I remember talking with Seth, and I think Seth and I were about the same area, so I made it to May. So I made it to the second dungeon. I was in like Madarame's palace, I believe, is like the artist. That's past the tutorial. I put 20 or so hours into Persona 5. So it's not like I didn't play it, it's not like I dropped it quick. I played it for like a good month and a half at least. 4 to 6 weeks. Now, in Persona time, that's nothing. Barely playing at all. But think about that in terms of just any game. I played that longer than I've played Halo 3 or Halo 2 or Rise of the Tomb Raider. There's been so many other games I never played that long. My issue with Persona 5 playing on PlayStation 4 is that my PlayStation 4 is on my living room television. And for me to play Persona 4 for longer than an hour meant that I had to sit in my living room, in my family room where everyone watches TV, and take over the TV. And it got hard to play. And having somebody that played Persona 4 beat Persona 4, actually, I have a story I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell my Persona experience, if you didn't mind. Since we're not going to talk about the direct that wasn't, I figured I'd fill some airtime. because I'm actually not even sure. I'm pretty sure that you guys are. I know Kevin's going to say that this doesn't count. I'd be interested to hear what Caroline thinks, but I think playing it on the go will give me the opportunity to play more games, because the games that I do play for 30, 40, 50, 60 hours, the games that you guys have seen me beat, Fire Emblems, Pokemons, these are all games that I play portably. Because I typically play them while I'm watching TV with the wife, while I'm spending time with other people. I'm kind of sitting there walking through, turn-based mechanics, not really paying attention, just kind of checking on the story and kind of mindlessly playing them. That's how I play RPGs. Same way I played Xenoblade. It's just how I play them. I don't sit there and play a 100-hour game on my TV like tethered to a controller.
So before you go on,
yeah,
RPGs are typically all about the story. So what you're
which I do
describing
love.
is a passive experience where you're not fully paying attention to
No,
the
that's not true.
story.
I do pay attention to the story.
But
That's
the
the
games you
thing.
quoted, Fire Emblem, Pokemon, have virtually zero story.
Xenoblade has a ton of story.
Like Persona.
I would disagree
Nobody
on Fire
follows
Emblem.
Xenoblade.
Thank you.
Nobody follows Xenoblade, so.
And Pokemon Sun had a great story. For one.
It did.
Just offer.
Gotta catch them all.
And I'm completely the opposite because I don't have kiddos yet. Brian and I like to experience that RPG story together. So we sat and played, most of my 300 plus hours of Xenoblade 2. He sat and watched with me, and we played on the big screen together.
So-
and he'd get mad if I played something without him.
Let me follow
Also,
this up.
other solution, move the PS4.
That's what Devin used to always tell me.
Yeah.
But there's a lot involved in that, because I really don't have a place for it. Every TV that I have has a game console on it. So to move one means I have to move the other. I didn't want to play it on the console. That's ultimately what it comes down to. I didn't want to play it on the living room. I do think your criticism is valid. I could have just kept playing it. I do think you're absolutely right. I stopped playing it to play other things. That was another part of it. And that was the other part of it. I remember talking about that in the chat with Kyle and Devin. I think Kyle even had the exact same thing. He got Persona. I don't think he played it more than I did. If I'm being fair, I don't think he played it more than I did. I don't think he made it further than I did in Persona 5.
I thought he did. I thought Nino Kuni was the one he put down.
No, I'm sorry, did I say Seth?
You said Kyle.
I don't think Kyle played Persona 5 more than I did. So I don't think I'm alone here in terms of
Considering how little Kyle played Breath of the Wild, I would not be surprised.
That's... I'm saying...
He's playing another game.
I'm saying I think a lot of us, put it on hold to play other games. I think that's ultimately the point. So I do. That's fair. That's valid. I could play it right now. I've been tempted. I've almost bought it. I have almost bought it, and the only reason I haven't bought it is this perpetual rumor that it could possibly come to portable. So I've been waiting for it. So Kevin knows more about this story than Caroline, but I've talked about my cousin Susie in the past quite a bit. She's probably my most influential gaming person coming up. Susie's the one that introduced me to definitely all the Suda 51 stuff that I've ever played, with Silver Case and all that. She used to do all this Japanese games, so Devil May Cry, Parasite Eve, all of that stuff. All of that stuff was from Susie. Susie introduced me to all that. She used to love playing it, Final Fantasy and Suikoden and things I never got into. She played Persona on the PlayStation 1. I want to say it's called Revelations or something. It's weird. I'm not sure how much you guys follow the Shin Megami Tensei series or Persona. I know Kevin didn't at all, because I'm going to bring this up in a minute. But these games have different names and stuff. They're Persona games on the GBA that are called Bible Life or whatever that you guys may have played, right? So, and those are Pokemon clones. They've been all kinds of different ways. So she introduced me to that, and the old one I actually remember playing it with her. It reminded me of Clock Tower. Had these weird models that walked around with mouse movements in rooms. The only thing that was different is that in dungeons or in the city, everything moved in a Doom-like corridor. So it was a 3D thing, and the old school Duke Nukem PC perspective. You would do that, and then you would walk into a room, and it'd suddenly be like Clock Tower. Wasn't really my thing, but back then, it was kind of a monster story, right? Fast forward half a decade, more like a full decade. Make sure my wife can't hear me. I actually dated a girl in high school that introduced me to Persona 4, and we played it together. Now, I admit, it was a lot of her playing and me following along.
Hold on. We're the same age a little bit. Has it seriously been that long since Persona 4 came out?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Because it came out on PlayStation 3, and then it was ported to Vita. So when it ported to Vita, it got popular. That's when people think of it like Persona 4 coming out.
Okay.
It came to PS3.
2008 Persona 4.
Way before that. So I dated a girl that played Persona 4, and I played on the couch with her. And she used to tell me, all about Yosuke and Teddy and all that stuff, right? All best girl and all this stuff. And I watched her play, and I would kind of pay attention to the storyline. Now, we beat the entire game. That's when I say I beat the game. I didn't play the whole thing, but I was along for the ride. Caroline, very similar to how you and Brian play games, right? Like, to me, I played the game. I played it for bits. I'd help her get through. She'd make dinner or something. I'd play. She'd pick up. We passed the controller, but it was a together experience. We played the game. That's when I got excited about Persona. The thing that I like about Persona is exactly the story parts. That's honestly the only part. Because Kevin, in defense of your statement, you're right. These 100-hour long RPGs are not my thing. I would much rather experience Persona in like an action game or a fighting game. I've told you guys in the past, I would love Persona Warriors. I think Persona 5 Warriors would be insane. I'd be so hyped. That'd be fun. I'd be so excited. But when I started getting into video game podcasting, I think, maybe just a few years before we all kind of hooked up together, when I was kind of learning about the internet and really getting into it in terms of podcasting and like this echo chamber community, like games coverage, following Podcast Beyond, they went bananas and talked about Persona 4 Golden on Vita for years. It seemed like forever. It's like the only game. I bought a Vita to play Persona 4. Like, that's the reason I bought a Vita. Every Vita that I've owned and all the Vitas everybody makes fun of me, the first game I download, and usually the only game I play, Hot Shots Golf, Persona 4. I have walked through the Persona 4 tutorial and first and second dungeon only to then sell the Vita and then do it again every time. I'm doing it right now. So I've always played these games more on the go because I play them like Pokemon or like Fire Emblem, where I just kind of play them. I just kind of always play them. They're just there. If I'm bored, if I'm watching TV, if I'm sitting in a car and I'm driving, I just play it. So I'm excited for Persona 5 for that reason. If it comes to Switch, I'm very excited. Now, to ramp it up a notch, Caroline knows this already because I'll say this on the podcast and I'll leave it at that. To be a part of Caroline's Loot of the Day Club, that's a private connection that Caroline and I have, and I love it. It is amazing. Like being able to share each other.
Let me mention. I showed the one that I showed you today to Brian, and he said, "How come you show Donnie all these things?
Yes.
How come you don't show me all these things?"
I love this. I'm infatuated with the Persona 5 art. I don't know why.
Beautiful.
I'm just infatuated with it. Like, I've got wallpapers. I've watched the animation. So like that's one thing that I've done since I've adopted Hulu in the past, 6-7 months, is I've went through Persona 5 the animation, which is all Japanese. I wish it was English voiceovers because I think it'd be easier to follow along. But I watched it all the way through. But Persona 4 I've started watching, and Persona 4's animation is all English dub. So I don't even watch
animation.
So did you watch more of Persona 5 than you played of Persona
I watched the whole thing, like 35 episodes. Like, I'm done.
So you spent more hours watching Persona 5
Yes, I absolutely did. So like I said, I would much rather experience the story outside of the 100-hour Xenoblade game. But if it comes to Switch, I absolutely will buy it just to try and play it and maybe one day finish it.
Is the anime exactly paired with the...
Nope.
It's not paired with the game
Slightly
at all.
different. I have looked that up. I actually have found a Discord community about just that, about anime, and they walked me through all of it. So, I mean, my fandom for Persona goes a little bit deeper than I tried a game and put it down because it's daunting and forever long. But I'm excited if it comes to Switch. I would love to say that I beat Persona 5. I would like to say that. So that's kind of like my whole thing with that. So... and then I'd love for Caroline to play because Caroline's absolutely...
I'm going to. Day one, when it's released, I'm going to play it.
We're going to have so many best girl debates because
to
Takamaki is my favorite, right? She's the American, she's the blonde, she's the bombshell, she's over my shoulder here. Like, she's the one. But then there's so many different characters. And I think that's kind of like the Persona love, is that there's so many different characters, a character for everybody. Yeah.
It's going to be really funny when it's never announced for Switch.
I think...
Joker is still trash and doesn't belong in Smash. That's my other thing.
What else is Persona 5S? Seriously.
Oh, no. All right, so let's talk about that a little bit more.
Stadia. Persona 5 Stadia.
Oh, dear.
So, I just lost my train of thought with all this.
So in all seriousness, they make games about dancing. That Persona 5S could stand for anything because it does not make logical sense anyway.
So hang on a second.
Yeah.
So I have the dancing games, and they're great. And if the dancing games came, I mean, I already have them on Vita, so I don't think I'd buy them for portability, but I would definitely recommend people to play them. The Persona dancing games, like, one, the music's amazing. Really amazing, like incredible music soundtrack. But outside of that, the actual dancing, the rhythm games, really good. Kind of like Hatsune Miku. But that aside, Caroline, you said what else could S be? Now, I agree with you. I think it's Switch. I think it's coming. But Kevin's not wrong. There are plenty of Persona fighters. There's one on Xbox. It's actually beautiful and fun. But there are plenty of...
Plus, keep in mind, Persona Q has nothing to do with the 3DS, and it was on that. So
there's a bajillion spin-offs in the Shin Megami Tensei series.
Salsa. Persona Salsa. It's a cooking game.
Joker's coming to Smash announcement this month, and you're doing an announcement also this month for a Persona 5S.
To be fair,
it's in Best Buy system. I mean,
Persona concert was scheduled like a year ago.
Yeah, and that has nothing. The Persona concert has nothing to do with Nintendo. So,
meh.
I'm just trying to throw salt in here. I hope it comes because I do want to experience it, and likely I will play it on Switch versus buying it on one of the other consoles. But
I don't think you.
At this point, I'd be shocked if it doesn't come.
Nick is in the chat now. I'm seeing, and I think maybe he's who I was saying about. Somebody in our Discord loves Makoto, so every time I post it's a comic-y thing, we get the other half, and then everybody else comes through. I think Caroline's a Futaba girl, but we'll find out. But Kevin, we'll see. Just to throw a little more shade the other way, let me fight back here to throw a stick jab. Kevin was furious when Joker was announced, fuming in our chat, going on and on and on. And it didn't even seem like you realized that Persona was a Shin Megami Tensei game, because you were like, you were talking about Metal Gear and historical like legacy and everything.
Fine. And I admit I did not know. However, he still has no Nintendo relevance. That character has zero Nintendo relevance.
Yeah, but that series.
So unless Persona 5 comes out, it makes sense. No, every other series the character has appeared in.
Sure, and I think that's why a lot of people are pulling that it will come.
As the first, it's fine if he's one of the 5 or whatever. That's fine. But realistically, the first one out of the gates should have been a fan service one, not one saying, "Hey, here's this guy." Most of you in the U.S. don't know who he is.
Yep, and I think that's why everybody's hoping, at least, right? They're hoping that's not the case, and that it actually is coming, because it would
make a hell of a lot more sense if they did.
It's a big deal.
I'm assuming Persona is huge in Japan. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I think they showed today that Smash has already sold 3 million units in Japan alone. So,
and I played about.
They're catering to their Japanese audience, I suppose.
I got about halfway through.
I'm just saying, Smash. It's a homage to Nintendo throughout the year.
I agree.
And he's not there. That was my only point.
Yeah, and what should I respond to? Like, I understand that tie-in, but that necessarily shouldn't be Nintendo's motive in terms of bringing people. I would rather see them use Smash as a way to lure third-party developers into supporting.
No, I don't want to go on that route at all.
I would.
Forget that.
They need the help.
Hey, cut a deal.
Kevin wants the click.
No way.
They need the help. Right? They need more
Nintendo.
Third-party
Nintendo needs
support.
no one's help right now.
Well, they need more.
Nintendo needs no one's help right
support.
now.
They need more support.
Okay, so even if they have third-party support, look at a list of the top-selling games on Nintendo Switch. The third parties aren't even on there. Even when they're good with Mario and Rabbids, great third-party game. People don't pay. It's that Nintendo mentality where, yes, there are more Switches out there now than a Nintendo console in the recent years. However, people still don't care about playing those experiences on Nintendo. It's nice to have when you don't have another option, like Jacob Rush plays just Nintendo. So he is that small minority of people who don't have anywhere else to go. Like, right now, so Wolfenstein, we'll talk about it later, but you have the option of playing on Xbox, PS Pro, and Nintendo Switch.
Sure.
If you have any other option, you are not in the right mind to buy a Nintendo Switch.
I'm with you. I think with Switch being portable, just in this particular instance, Persona should do well. Like, if Persona 5 comes to Switch, it should sell well. I don't know if it'll outsell PlayStation 4, but I think it might. And that
might come close.
That's saying something, considering that you can buy the game for $20 right now, and it's 3 years old almost.
Yes. Yep.
So like that's saying something. They may, because I think a lot of those PlayStation 4 owners will buy it again. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, but I think that's a rarity. So if you start throwing money at third parties, say, "Hey, bring your game over, and we'll put your character in Smash." That's not going to work in most cases.
That's a good point.
A game like this, I agree, absolutely will.
That's a good point. Anyway, belaboring that point, I played about half of Tokyo Mirage Sessions before I got rid of my first Wii U, and I never went back. And I've got it again, and I still haven't tried to reboot it. But that's kind of like a Persona game. So yeah,
I need to buy. Well, it's a Shin Megami game.
It is, but the way it mixes in with Fire Emblem, it feels like a Persona game. It feels more like a Persona game than like Shin Megami Tensei 4 did on 3DS, for example.
All right, shout out to Chalfie in the chat. Chalfie, I love you for saying that, man. Absolutely agree. Cookie Mama, throw in Smash. That makes more sense.
Cookie
than
Mama
Joker
for
right
Smash.
Cookie Mama and Smash makes more sense than Joker.
That would be awesome.
But Joker's cooler. It's gonna have a cooler stage, better music, it's gonna look better.
Have you played Cookie Mama?
Have you?
Nobody's
well,
cooler than
you
Cookie
haven't
Mama,
played.
so.
Joker's.
I
gonna
played
be
Cookie
awesome.
Mama. I played Campin' Mama. I played Crafting Mama. It's all good.
So you heard
I
it
didn't
here.
know there was Camping Mom.
Kevin hates Joker. He's going to buy the characters for Smash, and he's going to get Persona 5 on Switch anyway. And then Caroline and I
Maybe.
just to be excited about it.
Yeah.
The title of the episode is Yoshi's Crafted World. I did finally get the game. It didn't arrive to me until Saturday, guys. I posted in the Discord, so you guys already know this, but those listening,
shame.
I was over a week late for the game to come. I actually
crazy.
got on the support chat with Best Buy, and I told them, I was like, hey, I just want to voice my displeasure. I pre-ordered this game 6 months before it came out, and it's been a week. I was Thursday, I think I contacted them. I was like, the game says it's out for delivery, says that for 3 days, and it's still not here, and it's not scheduled to be here. And they were like, oh, that's a problem. So they looked it up and everything. They realized it was a problem. They gave me a gift card. $5.
That's nice.
They were like, here's $5. And then I got it 2 days later. But so just saying that, I've only had it for a couple days, and it was WrestleMania weekend, so I didn't play it Saturday and play it Sunday. You know, I've been watching WrestleMania with the kids and all that. So I'm only through the second world. So I've played it for a few hours.
Can't fight yet. Okay.
But Kevin said he wants to fight, so I want to turn the floor to you. What should I be anticipating, either hating or loving or disagreeing with you?
All right, Caro, how many hours have you put into Yoshi so far?
Not even 10.
Okay, you'll still get the idea, I think, at least. All right,
Yeah.
so Yoshi's Crafted World looks amazing. Great platformer. The whole nine is great. Here's where Donnie's going to hate it. I'm telling him right now. And it was a little misleading, your comments last week, Caro, on Yoshi about the flowers. So now that you've played more, you probably know where I'm going.
Okay.
So, Donnie, when she said before there was like 5 or 6 flowers, there's more like 20 per level.
No.
And-
I said that it becomes. What I said was
You flip it and you get the
Yoshi
dogs, you get
games.
another 4. Yeah.
right, but standard Yoshi games, you generally have, like with Woolly World, you had 5 per level. But
Yep.
with this one, there's 3 that you have to get just from collectibles and coins.
Right.
And then you can have up to 8 additional, plus the flip side, which gives you another 4.
Plus more. I don't know how far you've played. So
I've played
this is
some
where
levels
Donnie
that have
gets
like
disconnected.
10 or 11 or 12 flowers in them.
Yeah. So well, here's my gripe, and this is where I anticipate you not liking it. I like it because I'm a collector person. I did everything, 100% of Yoshi's Woolly World. Everything I did, I got every single thing. Probably gonna do the same thing here. This is where you're gonna hate it. So you're gonna collect everything, and you're done. You've done the front side and the flip side. You go 4 stages forward. All of a sudden, those little robots that are on the menu start asking you to go back and find more stuff for them.
Yeah.
And you'll
But
go
see,
back and you'll find, a fish. And then you'll go back 4 stages. And guess what? Now I need you to go back to that first level again and collect something else for me. And then you'll go forward. And then all of a sudden, again, you have to go back. Like, you're replaying the same stages, not just twice. You're replaying them up to like 5 or 6 times before you officially get everything and they stop asking you for stuff. And that's kind of where it's a little
I've been
annoying.
doing that. I think
Yeah.
I've gone through 6 different areas and I've gotten all of the robot requests done. So I want 100% an area completely before I move on to the next one.
Well, and some of them you can't. I found out with some of them, like I had to keep going before the robot asked for something else.
Oh, really? No, see,
Yeah.
I
And
go until
do you
all the
have to go
flowers
back and
show
play
up.
them before you can
So-
advance?
No, you can't. You can go forward, but as you go forward, you move to these next. I don't want to call them overworlds because they're really short sections.
Yeah.
But as you move to that next screen, the robot will basically charge you a toll. Like, hey, if you want to come over here, we need 10 flowers. So I'm wondering if you get to a certain point that you are going to hit that point where you can't. Like, I know you mentioned to Seth, like, Seth was like, hey,
There's
can I
a
just play
pretty
with these
big-
my kids and go forward? Well, if he's not collecting enough flowers, he may hit a point where the robot's going to be like, nope, I need 30 more flowers.
That's
from you.
what
There's
that's
a
where
pretty big cushion, though.
I thought that's what
I
you were
hope
going to
so. I
go
haven't gone
with.
far enough to see. The most I paid is like 15, but I don't know how high it's going to go.
Yeah, I've paid 30, but I have
That's sad, you paid
because I
20.
keep going through everything. I've paid 30 and I've had like 120 flowers on me at any given time.
Right, but you're going through and collecting everything. I don't see Donnie and especially Seth like continuing that all along. Like I think up to a
understand.
point, but then you're gonna lose interest. Like I don't want to go back and replay these same stages 5-6 times. Like it's a bit much.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. No, I agree with you
Yeah.
there. I'm not going to. But I was never going to do that. I've never been the
Right.
I'm going to 100% and collect every single item. I've never done that.
Yeah,
But
no,
if they
so
ever
that's the
stop
part
me
you're not
from
gonna like.
playing forward, that's when
Yeah.
I'll have a problem. But
Right.
saying what Caroline said, I've had a cushion so far. Like I just paid 20 this morning to advance. I had like 38. So I had plenty, and it's not like I'm sitting there looking at guides or anything. These are just, I've got several levels where I only got half of the flowers, you know, like I think that might be kind of like the ratio, kind of like 30, 40%.
Yeah, I mean, if it continues that way, you'll be fine. I'm just anticipating like the replayability in this game is very high. So we'll say, and then for me, that's a good thing. But I think for a lot of people, it's going to be, you're going to get tired of it after a while. Like as you get 4 or 5 worlds in, not just levels, as you start progressing through the game, I think some people will be like, I just need to get to the end of this game and beat it. I don't want to keep going back and finding 3 cows in the background hidden. I don't want to do the flip side twice, once to get the puppies, the poochies, and then another one to find, you know, this paper airplane that's hidden in the background. Like those kind of things I think is going to tire on some people. I love it. The game is the best looking game on the Switch. Fight me.
Absolutely. I agree.
I agree with you.
It looks like a legit stop motion
pretty beautiful
photography game.
I do love
I think the trailers and that little claymation thing they did ahead of time, those were awful. When you see the actual game, it's way better than that.
I like the mini games or like the little mini challenges for the flowers that you encounter into the levels when you've got to like, you know, flip the level around and like quickly shoot down the people or pick out the right ones or the match 3 games. Or I found one where you had to find just the right flower and it's all timed in space. So that's more encouraging to replay if you don't get it right the first time. It's like, you know, damn it, stop, restart. It's fun. I'm really enjoying it so far. I like the overworld. I like the little menu option, being able to see everything, what you're missing, what you didn't have, what you didn't get, you know, kind of where you stand. I like the costumes. Carol, I'm not going to collect them all, but I do love the little costumes. My favorite so far is cute. I love the generic amiibo box. That's my favorite one. I've got a couple rares and super rares, but
do I have that one?
If you scan
Ted blowing up.
If you
chat right now.
Ted, thank you so much, man. If you get the amiibo, if you use one of the amiibos that's not supported, right? So like Mario, Luigi, they give you stuff. If you use a different amiibo, right? So pull out Splatoon amiibo or something else, use that amiibo, you just get an amiibo box. So he literally looks like he's he's in an amiibo box. That's my favorite one. That's the coolest.
So here's where, and this was what I was going to bring up next. The costumes. I'm not a huge fan. Especially if you're playing cooperative with somebody else, it just makes you bigger and more likely your partner is going to jump on your back and throw everything off. Which when somebody jumps on your back, you steal all their eggs. So like that can get a little chaotic. And the bigger your character is, kind of like I'm still putting amongst my kids love. My 4-year-old likes to pick out which, you know, Yoshi I'm going to be the color and then the costume every level, which is fine. But for me, it's almost making Yoshi bulkier than he needs to be. Yeah, and it's like I wish like in Woolly World it was just changing the pattern of the Yoshi. That was much easier to just be like, okay, cool, I get it. These costumes, like some of them are elaborate, like the train from the first level. Like
that's kind of why I like them. I like, it's like sitting in a boat and stuff. It's
No, it's super cute. It's just not in a platformer. It's not practical. I think
there's also the armor aspect. Like I do like the armor aspect because you have to get through these levels in order to get one flower. You have to get by with perfect health. And that really helps. By the time you've passed all of the checkpoints, you pretty much are golden if you don't.
It helps my kids who are not nearly as good. Like my son couldn't get through the train, so I got him like the best armor costume we had, and he could take a little bit more damage. But I did play it co-op just one level. I've never really liked playing platformers co-op, like with my kids and wife. They're just not very good. I think I've talked about this before, right? They can't run and jump at the same time. Like they just don't have the gamer coordination that I have. So they're slowly stop before they jump. Like they can't run. Like they can't go. You know, it's like go. They can't go. Everything is like a deliberate movement. So I always feel like I'm watching a platformer played in like slow motion. Like, what are you doing? Let's go. So what we do is we swap the controller. That's typically how my wife and I play. And she loves the Yoshi games. One of the few games that she wants to play. When it finally arrived, I opened it up. She wanted to play it like that night. We just swap the controller. We just go level by level. And you go, I go. We swap when whoever dies and just kind of play. It's a very casual experience for us. We just kind of hang out and chill, man. It's not that serious, Kevin. Kevin's like, I have to replay this thing 6 times over. It's like,
I'm going to do it. That's the thing. Like, I have no problem doing it, but I see somebody like you halfway through the game going, forget.
I'm not doing that. I tell you that right now. You're absolutely right. If I go there and they're like, go back and find me a fish, and I'm like, I'm done with this game. That's where I just stop playing Yoshi.
But you don't have to do it. It's completely optional.
And as long as it's optional and it's not stopping me from moving forward, I'm good. And if I ever get to a point where I can't get the flower, right? Like if I've got to grind a couple of flowers, I'm okay with that too. But if I get if I need 75 and I only have 3, we got a huge problem. You know, like as long as I'm not being like stumped to move forward. I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I do love it. It's great. It's way better than Kirby was this time last year. Way better than Kirby.
I wonder if we'll get DLC like Kirby got DLC.
I'm sure. I mean, Mario Tennis Aces got DLC.
We still don't get Mario Party DLC, and that's a game that needs
Mario
it.
Odyssey just got VR stuff. Like, I think
that's because they're milking that game for whatever it's worth.
we're gonna get something. We're gonna do something. They'll do something with that.
And it's funny. So I beat Mario Odyssey, never picked it back up again. Like they've released all these costumes. Like I don't care.
Same with
I don't care about the costumes. It
the
doesn't do anything
Luigi
in the game.
balloon thing.
Yeah, but no, forget that.
I haven't done the balloon thing yet, but I did go back trying to finish getting all of my souvenirs and stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
But
Just to slow down
You
stream.
do that. You collected all the spirits too. Like that's. I'm not doing that either. I played Smash this week. Like I'm getting ready for Joker. I played it Sunday. I played it last night.
What game?
Smash.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wait, that came out
4 months ago, 5 months ago now. Yeah. I know.
I'll have to blow the
Feel the
dust
same
off
way.
that.
I picked it up, went through some classic mode. Yeah, I mean that's the trend, right? I don't think anybody but Jason's playing Smash or has played Smash. Seth's getting rid of Smash. He's like, I think
he already did. He already did it, though.
Yeah, he's like, we never play this. He got rid of Smash for Yoshi.
Yep.
That's something that my
Treat
siblings-in-law like to play. So when they come over, everybody gets Joy-Con, and that's what we play. Sure. They ask when we go over there for Christmas or Thanksgiving, will you bring the Switch so we can play?
Yep. I mean, I just play it with Jack, so we just play. Or if I'm, like I said, if I'm bored watching WrestleMania, what's a great game to play while you're watching WrestleMania? Smash. It fits when the glove fits. Any other Yoshi things? I mean, I feel bad because it's this big first-party tempo game, and it's just it's Yoshi. It's beautiful. It's fun. You collect stuff. Like it just kind of is.
It's great, but people aren't going to play. I think that's the thing. Is I don't think enough people are playing it. Like I think it really is. It's going to be in that Kirby wheelhouse where it'll sell okay, but it's not going to touch anything near Mario Odyssey. And I mean, who knows? Maybe by the time I beat it, but as of right now, like that's trending to be Yoshi's better than Mario Odyssey for me. Will it stay that way once I get halfway, 75% through the game? I'm not sure, but right now, I'm having way more fun with Yoshi than I did in Mario.
I'm gonna let you have
that Mario Odyssey
because I took my beating over Odyssey remarks already. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Going to leave it alone.
I think they're both great games.
More people need to play Yoshi. That's my statement. More people need to play it.
Yeah, I will get it. It is somewhat troublesome when you see like Mario Odyssey sold 11 million copies, and it's like Yoshi 1.25.
It's like what's wrong with all you people?
Where are the 9 million other people?
I know.
Why aren't you buying Yoshi? Yoshi's good. All right. Before we move on to the news block, we do have a Return to Hyrule update. So I was going to come on and proclaim it dead. Like we still have the Discord discussion, right? Kaiju's still playing it. We're still sharing. Skinny Matt's got some updates, so people are still going. But I think on the podcast, this is the first week in 5 weeks. We didn't get a question. We didn't get a story. Nobody recorded anything. Nobody sent anything. I have an
update.
Kind of feel like it's dead. Did you even actually play?
I've played it. I've started the Great Plateau, and I did 2 shrines, and then I put it back down.
Quit.
And then I played Yoshi.
The story that I wrote is mine.
Right. But I'm sorry. Before you tell Brian's story.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
I don't think Kyle and Josh are playing it. Like, we see them playing games. They keep saying what they're playing. This isn't one of them. Yeah. I don't think Devin's playing it. We keep seeing him talk about games. This ain't one of them. So it kind of feels like it's kind of come and gone.
No, I bet Devin's still playing it.
You think so?
Because he's not playing anything on console, though. And he plays the Switch at work, and he can pick it up and put it down. So I bet he's still playing it. He's just not talking about it.
Okay.
And knowing the way he plays games, he could be playing it for a long time and not actually have anything to talk about because he hasn't hit like a Divine Beast or anything of that nature. Like he's probably exploring the crap out of the place.
Like my husband.
Yes. So Brian has a story. Please go, Caroline.
We have a few things to talk about. I just wrote down a dribble drabble about everything that happened. So the other day he got into one of those shrines at the very, very tip top. How he climbed it in the rain without Rivali's scale is beyond me. But he got in there and it was a modest test of strength, which is Guardian Scout 3. And he has just 5 hearts. He's gotten 2 hearts additional, and I think he got 1 stamina upgrade. So he's only done 12 shrines. So he comes in there, and I'm like, babe, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to do it. He's like, screw you. Just because you said that, I'm going to do it. Takes him over 30 minutes and a few tries. And I'm like, I can't watch you right now. I'm so stressed out. So I went and I got a bath, and I hear him scream downstairs. Woo! He pings me on the thing over there, the intercom system through the
Wait,
house.
you have an intercom?
Whoa, mansion. You can't. Well, you
man.
can't yell from room to room, so you have to.
I haven't figured out how it works yet. Like you have to ping it, and then the other person has to go up to the other one, and then you have to say go ahead, and then like it works.
Or
that
you
way
can
or
ring
something.
the bell, and the butler will come and deliver a handwritten note to you. You know,
Like,
Anyway,
like a carrier dove. Just
exactly.
He goes, I just want to let you know I did it. And I'm like, well, congratulations. He's still working on the mechanics. He like goes to pull out his bow and arrow, but he accidentally just like throws his weapon and chucks it across. He's like, I didn't mean to do that. He has not done any divine beasts. He says he's going to do the Rito version, or the Rito one first, Vamedo, the flying bird.
Vomido?
Just so Vamedo, yeah.
Like vomit?
No, Vamedo. It's based off
Vomido?
of Medley's
Vamedo.
name.
See, that makes sense. I
Varuta.
understand you now, Donnie. Not hearing about Vomido. That's the name of a robot butler, Vomido.
Okay, Kevin. Why does everybody come into Shack and start like giving me crap? It was
See,
it was
Benji in the chat, vomit dough. See?
God,
That Vamedo.
Vamedo. Anyway, he says he's going there. He hasn't done that yet. One cute thing that he does with Koroks, though, is if there is a Korok puzzle where there's a rock and you have to pick it up and the Korok's hiding underneath of it, depending on how difficult it took him to get to the rock, if he thinks that it was too difficult, he punishes the Korok by putting the rock back on its head and, make the Korok go, ow! But the good Koroks still get hurt.
Yeah, that's fun.
I don't like it.
I don't know. That's
I
fun. Oof. I can relate.
I don't like it. He's
told-
hurting them. I don't want him to hurt them.
I told that story, the same exact story, almost on our launch podcast. I ran across that shrine that's sitting out there on that island, and you go in there, and it's some sort of test of strength, and I only had like 5 or 7 hearts, and I went and farmed stuff. I was like, I'm beating this right now. Like, I don't know what happened. It was the first time I ever encountered one of those Guardian Scouts in that shrine, and I wanted to see what happens if you beat them, and I went.
He got a Battle Axe Plus out of it. I
Yeah.
gotta give it to him.
Super
He's got
fun,
like
man.
a super dope weapon now.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Let's hit into the news block because we got some questions to get through. We'll just get some quick thoughts on this. PSVG already covered them, so we'll just kind of cover with our own thoughts. Wolfenstein Youngblood, right? It's coming to Switch. We're so excited about it. It's a budget title. It's a big release. Bethesda support. It's cool. It's a shooter. They're selling a physical box with no game in it. No cartridge. It's just a code.
Stupid.
It's like the old
Absolutely
school.
stupid. I'm a physical collector, and I think this is absolutely ridiculous.
So
Why?
here's my
It's a
question to
storage
you.
problem.
Well, that's number one. But here, so you physically collect all these boxes, right? And you have them all
Correct.
up on your shelf and everything like that. Do you open up and stare at your cartridges? No. You have them on
No.
your shelf saying, "I have this stuff."
But I prefer to have a cartridge and put it in my Switch, so I'm not using up data on digital versus physical. So if the title is physical and digital, I prefer to get the physical, so I don't have everything downloaded on my Switch.
Sure, and that's fair. However, you only play Nintendo, so that's a first world problem. And anybody else that has gaming, because you have the disc, you put the disc in. Guess what? Installs the whole game anyway. So Switch is different. Second point. You're not going to play this game anyway, so let's be
I
honest.
probably am
Like,
not, but I just,
right.
it rubbed me the wrong way when Mega Man did
Sure.
this, when they had
Yeah.
the one and then
Half
the
and half.
other half of it was completely just download only, and that bothered me. And now just seeing, hey, we're making a glorified piece of plastic with a slipcover inside of it, it's not what I want.
So the point I had on PSVG Prime, so if you didn't listen to that, anybody that's listening, my philosophy is that this is the way for Bethesda to avoid the Switch tax.
That makes sense.
They're not paying for a cartridge. They're still giving people a box if you're a diehard collector and want that, relic on your shelf, but they don't need to charge you $10 extra for it.
It just
That
bothers
might
me.
be
Because
the case.
if,
I think
if, if this game came out, so what's it retail for, Donnie? 'Cause I know you pre-ordered it.
$30.
30.
$29.99.
Okay, so it's 30 on Xbox, 30 on PS4. Here it is on Switch, where, as I said earlier, most people, if they have another choice, they shouldn't buy it on Switch anyway, just to be honest. And you release on Switch and it's $40. That always seems the stupidest thing, but we see it every single time when these games happen, when they do multi-platform.
We've
This
seen
is
it
a
a
way
bit.
that
It's not
they're
every
able to
time,
release it
but-
the same thing.
Yeah,
Almost every time.
It's a bit. especially for like bigger. I think it's just a storage issue. Ultimately, the only point that I really want to make is I really wish we could see an increase in the storage limit on the cartridge. Right,
Sure.
The cartridges are limited, and if you can't fit the whole game, like we see this with like NBA, right? They release you a cartridge with 7 gigabytes on it, and you got to download the other 25.
Now, was that confirmed that that's the reason, or we just...
No. I just think like when I see this type of stuff, that's where I
Right.
immediately go to. It's got to be a storage.
There's no excuse for
Lucas
Mega
brought
Man,
that up. Well, yeah, and that's what Lucas brought the point up too. And in my head, I'm like, well, Skyrim's on a cartridge.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a whole
So
game.
I don't think it's a story. Still, Skyrim's going to be 5 times the size of this
huge.
game. This
And
game
Breath
we know
of
is
the
going to be a
Wild
shorter
is pretty
experience.
huge,
It's not.
too.
Wolfenstein's not open world. It's level based. Like so, I mean, it can't be bigger than Skyrim, even though Skyrim's old in my mind. So I think there's got to be some other reason. You might be completely right. I don't know, and I didn't know when we talked about the story last week, either earlier this week. But in my mind, that's where I was going, so that they don't have to sit there and charge $40 and look stupid because here it is, the inferior version of this game, but it's portable, $10 more. It just doesn't make sense. We haven't seen these games. We haven't seen many games release at the same time cross-platform.
It's true.
We're getting Mortal Kombat, we're getting this, but this is a budget one. So Mortal Kombat can charge 60, which they're only charging 60. They're not going to bump it up to 70, but this is a different price range.
Yep.
So the cross-platform ones we have seen have all retailed for full value, and the ones we've seen ported over were like, well, this is more money. Well, yeah, it was ported over from a year ago, so they can kind of get by that. This is going to release the same day. So you walk into Target and you see this title on multi-platforms. Why is it $10 more on Switch? Well, this is the way them avoiding it by not giving you a physical disc and having to buy those cartridges off Nintendo.
Ultimately, I think it's just bad perception for the entire system.
Sure.
I'd rather it just be digital. Like if you're just going to go this route, just make it digital then.
I agree.
Don't even sell a box.
Because
Sell a
realistically, you should
download
be able,
code.
yeah. Because you can just print out a pamphlet and make your own.
Yeah,
Like,
Right.
exactly. I tried to find the file size for Youngblood. I don't think they've finalized
I haven't seen it yet.
It's not out there. But I did find an interview from last year from the CEO of Bethesda saying that, that they brought Skyrim, Doom, and Wolfenstein 2. They won't bring everything over, and they say because of the file size. So now it's just, if anything, that means anything. They did mention that last year, and the ports that they're finding are, file size related. So, yeah, I just think it's bad perception for the thing. We were all really, I know a lot of people are really excited. Now, we mentioned this earlier with having multiple options to buy games. I would never buy this game or recommend buying this game on Switch if you can play it anywhere else, having played Wolfenstein 2. If it's your only option, sure, you can play the game. It's going to be a very inferior version of the game. So if you're going to spend $30, because you're going to spend regardless of wherever you play it at, if you have the option to play it on a PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, I would encourage you to do so because it'll be much better. The power gap is real, especially with those types of games. Doom was pretty good. Like you're missing a lot from like the 4K. Like if you played on Xbox One X, it's honestly feels like a different game, but the experience is there. I felt like Wolfenstein was really rough. It gets really blurry and stuff at times. Just like, man, I don't know if I could do this again. So I'm still looking forward to the game. So I already bought it. Let's say pre-order. I already bought it.
Nice.
And then the thing that's making the rounds everywhere is the Labo support for VR. So this came out right after we recorded Shack last week. Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, getting Labo VR. Labo VR comes out Friday? Right?
Friday. So
it's 2 days from now. I have it. Anybody else have it?
I'm not getting it immediately. I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
I was even thinking I don't like streaming, but I might even stream like putting together
absolutely.
one of the things
I think I
together.
need to do that too.
I'm actually kind of excited.
Record it, and speed it up though. Do it that way, like a time lapse video.
No, I feel like a nice 6-hour video.
Have you built the piano? I'm just throwing that out there.
They take forever. No, I'm with you there, Ken.
You could record it, time lapse it, make it a 10-minute video. I guarantee you more people sit there and watch the whole thing.
I'm not on to do it for the watching. I do it. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to drink and have fun and make cardboard stuff. I'm excited about
drink all of making Labo. That's a bad idea.
Like we talked about it last week. Like the impressions for people. Like there seems to be a little bit of hype around this one. People are excited about the games that were included. We saw the hands-on. People are talking about it's really fun. And then, kind of ratcheting up the hype, they released this trailer where you get Mario exclusive levels and Breath of the Wild content. I said my piece in the Discord, so I'll just say this. The Mario thing might be cool. It's still just going to be like playing Mario. But it did remind me of the Mario 3D Land like viewfinder like aspect. So you walk up to the viewfinder and you can zoom around the level and see different stuff. So it's going to be like the same thing. These are just like camera controls.
I know.
They're not like VR. Like Breath of the Wild feels. I mean, I don't want to say it's bad because it's something. I do think it's a good indication that they're putting a little more effort behind this one. If it sells well, like I said, a few weeks ago when it was announced, if it sells well, it'd be interesting to see if they lean into this a little with these little things, to kind of spread it. But like this, I'm not even excited about this Breath of the Wild thing at all. It just looks boring.
I think
to quote the Nintendo guru, as much as I know it excites you, Donnie, hot trash in the summer.
He's pre-ordering all this.
No, I'm just saying I'm using.
I was gonna say he's like super excited. Like I saw him the next day. He was like Breath of the Wild, but
no. Here's the thing. This is this specific aspect, not the Labo VR.
Right.
This
I'm
add-on is the
gimmick.
biggest cash grab Nintendo could possibly go for because they're giving you nothing.
You don't have to pay extra for it though. So to call it a cash grab is not a cash grab.
It is because they'll get people to buy Labo thinking they can play Legend of Zelda in VR, which you cannot.
But maybe they also find a really fun VR thing in the game.
No, it's the camera. That's all it is.
No.
And then in Mario Odyssey, they even quote it's mini experience.
That's what I'm saying. But maybe the Mario or Zelda experience gets them to try it, and maybe they find that the Labo VR game is fun. It might be worth it.
You know what they should have done? Mario Kart.
Mario Kart would have been good. I'd be with you there.
Just play Mario Kart. It could be the camera control.
I said Captain Toad.
Mario Kart VR.
Captain Toad make a lot of. If I could walk around the Captain Toad, it'd kind of have like a Fez-like thing, right?
Sure.
So if you could sit there and hold it and move.
Captain Toad suffers from Yoshi syndrome, though. That's the thing. Mario Kart, everybody's got. We already know that.
That's true. Yeah, and they still might.
Odyssey, didn't it?
They still might. We all want the Pokemon Snap. Maybe it happens.
Yeah,
it's gotta happen.
Maybe there's
It's not going to happen, but it should happen.
What I was going to say is if it doesn't happen, I wouldn't be shocked or stunned if Pokemon Sword Shield had like a little animal park.
Yes.
Let's Go did, where you can do the camera or something.
Which Kevin will never play it.
I'll try it.
Because I want Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap.
I'm not buying Pokemon, so I wouldn't be able to play that mode.
I mean, not that anybody cares to hear this, but a Fatal Frame game?
Oh, dude.
Oh, no, it would be really good, especially with the camera
That's never going to happen, though, either, but that would be great.
Fatal Frame was great on Wii U. I don't care what anybody says. Fatal Frame is amazing.
Here's what they do. They rip off Fatal Frame and add a mode in Luigi's Mansion that does that.
That would be even better, man.
Ooh.
That would
Luigi's
be even
Mansion
better.
VR? That would be dope.
See, and that's what I was... So that's the part that excites me, right? Like, if they can get some juice behind this and get some people using it, maybe they lean into the VR aspect of it because it should be easier to implement, right? It's all like first-person viewer stuff, right? So I'm not sure what those goggles do, because I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what those goggles do, if they like
apparently
magnify
they just
thing.
split the image.
Right, I knew that part, but like,
do
they give us any sort of like 3D effect or any sort of depth? Or
I think it's just a fisheye effect.
It's got to do something.
It's got to do something. Those lenses.
Otherwise, you're just staring at the screen really close to your face. Yeah. It's got to do something,
which isn't good for anybody. And here's the thing: it's like I just wish. I'm not against Labo VR. I'm all for it. Although I think the way they're doing it, you have to hold it. That's stupid. But whatever. If they want to go,
they'll come out with one that you don't have to. That's going to happen. Yeah.
If they really wanted to get people to try this out, they should have swung for the fences with some sort of extra experience like Mario Kart in VR or an actual bigger thing than just the camera in Legend of Zelda and mini experiences in Mario Odyssey. They should have swung for something big if they wanted to get people excited for it.
Well, I mean, I don't think
Splatoon in VR.
Yeah,
I don't
Mario
think
Kart VR. Maybe they are working on those kind of intro. Maybe they're working on integrating that kind of stuff. It's kind of like I see this VR thing is possibly being a peripheral, kind of like Amiibo, where you can use the Amiibo if you want. Maybe they'll be integrating this stuff. I think Mario Kart's perfect. I don't know, with Splatoon being third person as it is, if that would be
motion controls. Though, use motion controls to your head.
I guess. I think it's something that they can always go back and integrate.
Yeah, I think so. I just wish they went for something bigger to kick it off of that. And obviously, it's to get more people, to get VR in more people's hands. I just wish they went for something bigger than these.
I think that I don't disagree with you at all, but just only to fight you a little bit, just to make the conversation exciting. I don't think Labo has earned that type of investment.
I agree.
And I agree. However, they need to justify what they've put into Labo already, and they haven't done that yet. We've talked about
that's true.
All my Labo were collecting dust. They gave me all these mini experiences, and what are they doing again? mini experiences.
I'm excited.
Give me something big.
I'm excited to see these VR games, not these experiences. I am going to do the Mario. I'll do the Mario one like right away, but the other ones, like the ones that we've seen in the games with the fan, the push, the shooting game, I'm excited for that. I want to show Jack that drawing game, like where you draw with the elephant thing.
Painting.
Like, yeah. Some of this actually has. I feel like there's a little bit more here in that. Not necessarily because the game modes are better. Right. It's just because they're more open ended. It looks like they're more creative based. Like they have more long term appeal versus check out the hour tutorial. Now it's over.
Well, as opposed to like endless fishing and this fishing pole in the variety kit.
So what's the difference between this and PSVR for you? Because you gave up PSVR because there was nothing substantial there, and Nintendo's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that's. I mean, these two things are not remotely close to one another. But I mean, as I said when VR was announced, when Labo VR was announced, what did I say? It's not going to be VR. It's not going to be these experiences. We're not going to make games for it. That's not what this is. But it's also $40, and it might be a cool thing to do for a weekend. That's kind of more where I see this. Like, it's just $40, whereas PSVR was $250 plus of stuff sitting in my corner, like tangled up in a mess.
Okay,
so like for me, it was like, do I want to get rid of PSVR so like I don't have to keep this anymore? Because it's one of those things where I was like, every day that I keep it, it's like losing its value. So if I'm not going to play it, I need to move it. This is a cardboard thing, man. I play with it. Maybe it turns into something that we use 10 times for this year. Maybe I use it this weekend and I never touch it again. But at the end of the day, I'm out $40. That's a sweet, like that's an easy deal. And I got the GCU on all of it. So I don't remember what it all came down to, but I remember I told you guys, or I told Caroline on the show, whenever I pre-ordered, I got it for like half. I got the whole thing for half. You guys
need to remind me to buy everything, regardless of it being on sale or not, by the time my thing ends in October.
You need to set a calendar for that, because we're not, why are you telling us? Don't you have a butler for this? Why are you?
Stop it! God almighty. You should come over and like, my game room's completely empty right now. We should make Labo on the floor in here.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I'm going to pull out all the kits with the kids, and we're going to try it out. They like it. So one thing that I was going to say about this, but now that I remind myself of a point, does this in any way make it possible? I know, Kevin, you haven't played this yet, but is it possible to maybe get Tetris Effect on Switch? Tetris Effect doesn't really have like 3D VR aspects. It's just Tetris with like particles on the screen. But with VR and headphones, it could be a similar experience. That would be cool.
Possible, yes. Will they actually do it? I'm going to say probably not. They have Tetris 99 there, and once again, is the juice worth the squeeze? Like if they port it over, they convert it, make it possible to run at what they want on the Switch, and then will people buy it? I don't know. I got Tetris for free. Am I going to buy another version of Tetris because it's in VR?
Yeah. Well, it's not just the VR. Tetris Effect's like a different game, but no, you're right.
You're right.
That makes sense. I like Tetris
Effect. But the core consumer doesn't necessarily know that. They see Tetris, they have an image in their mind. When you get these wacky one-off Tetris things, it kind of throws people off.
That's what I was trying to think of, just like bring something new to the discussion. Like maybe this card game thing makes that something that's possible. Like if they can do some sort of 3D thing with these goggles or something, it might be possible. It might be something you can do. Or down the line, if they come out with some sort of, I don't think they could do like a strap. I think it would have to be like a cardboard helmet or something. Like I wouldn't want to leave my Switch to a strap. That would scare me. I'd be like, oh man, it's gonna pop off. It's gonna fall.
Yeah,
I would need something like balanced on my shoulders. I feel like something I feel very comfortable knowing it's not going anywhere. If it did fall, it was going to be very protected.
You could probably jerry-rig the robot helmet to do something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The cardboard scares me then. Like, if anything, it's almost like they just give you a helmet. Like an actual helmet.
That's what I'm saying.
Versus cardboard. The cardboard part scares the hell out of me. I don't strap in my Switch to the cardboard. Anyway, that's the news block for this week. So let's knock out a few of these questions. Kyle, this one has been on our to-do list for a while now. Kyle really has. This one in forever ago. So he said, Ubisoft's done cool stuff with Mario and Star Fox. It's fitting that Kevin's here, which is why we're using the question. So what should they do next? Bubble Bobble or Dr. Mario?
So my answer is Bubble Bobble. However, I'm pretty sure Nintendo doesn't own Bubble Bobble, so it would be Dr. Mario would be the more reasonable one to come through. And I think we're due for a new Dr. Mario game anyway.
Don't have a Dr. Luigi game come out in mobile?
Well, no, Dr. Luigi was on Wii U.
That was on Wii U.
Think there's a Dr. Mario in
Mobile.
general.
Yeah, there's a
coming on
mobile game coming.
Yeah, but there needs to be a console game. A console game. But I would love for them to do Bubble Bobble. I think that'd be great, but that's not a Nintendo franchise, so I don't see it happening. Plus, Bubble Bobble, I don't want... So here's the thing. I think what Kyle's kind of confusing maybe a little bit with the way this question is, unless he really was directing this to me because nobody else would find this relevant. Bubble Bobble, or is he thinking Bust a Move? Because Bust a Move is more Dr. Mario-esque.
When you say Bubble Bobble, I think Bust a Move.
No, I want Bubble Bobble.
Right, I want Bust a Move. So I was going to say Bust a Move because I like Bust a Move.
Yeah. Bust a Move would be pretty awesome, too. But yeah, I want Bubble Bobble.
I have Bust a Move on Switch.
Overdue. Yeah.
It's terrible. I bought the arcade archive thing, and it's not like it's fine. It works, but like getting it to work, I don't know how like they map all those controls, but like getting it started, you got to press like the right trigger to start, but then the X button to get the menu going, and then a different button to start the game. Like it's a pain trying to get in and out of. Like, it's really difficult. The menus in that thing are a little weird because they're all like arcade based. So,
that's true.
But I do have it. But it's like $5.
I'm trying to think of what I would want Ubisoft to tackle and touch, and I would say probably I'm going to be the minority here, but I'm going to say you give them Star Fox again. However, you go for a Star Fox Adventures type game instead.
That's an easy one.
Where it has some air and some land combat because, imagine like Fox moving around like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Which a fox, typically hunting prey, would be able to do it. You have the different characters playable, make Falco playable, make Slippy playable, and have them have different dynamics. I'm just saying if you want to do it in an open world aspect, do it like a Star Fox Adventures type game. Still have the flying elements in because they have it done.
It would
I know.
be.
But that's like such a bigger experience than what we think of when we think Star Fox Adventure. That's such a big game. That's a huge deal. But the thing is, like,
do that because we're not getting Assassin's Creeds on Switch unless they're ports of the old games. So give us our Assassin's Creed, but it's Star Fox.
Whenever I PSVG next, I'm going to talk about the bad Assassin's Creed experience that I've had. Caroline, what do you think?
I was just sitting. I mean, like, I don't know if Ubisoft would do it, but with the way that the Tetris game kind of just happened for Nintendo Switch Online, I think a Dr. Mario is not out of the question to just happen for Nintendo Online users. I think that would just be one of those we'll throw you a bone type things.
But technically, you can play Dr. Mario on it already, can't you? Is that already on the NES thing or no?
No, I'm talking about like a new version. Like maybe
but I'm saying, do you need a new version unless you're?
Maybe they just throw the mobile one since mobile.
That's kind of what I was thinking with the mobile one. You were like, you need a console, and I was like, I kind of think it's the same.
Yeah, I think they just throw whatever the mobile version is maybe on Switch for Switch users. If you have an online, you get a little freebie.
Yeah.
Your answer, Kevin, is good. Ubisoft does big open world tower unlocking games really well. I think you could use that in a Metroid universe, and that would be really cool. It's got shooting mechanics and stuff.
Yeah.
Just to offer something different. They could adapt any of the IPs into like that UBR engine, like that Rayman type experience, and you could do like
Game & Watch in UBR.
You could do something like that, and that would be really cool as well. So anything like that. So thank you, Kyle, for the question. We appreciate it.
Just
Jared,
dance Nintendo characters.
It's already been done.
I know.
Jared asked, with the VR updates to Zelda Mario, what are the chances they have Pokemon Snap update for Sword and Shield? I mean, I think
just talked about it, didn't we?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to if it takes off or not. Like, if it really takes off, if a month from now people are talking about Labo VR, then I think it's possible. If it's like every other VR release that's come out in a month from now, we act like it never actually existed, then it won't happen. I don't know. We'll see. It just depends on how many people are into it.
I think the desire for a Pokemon Snap is there. VR related, it like you said, it depends on how popular this thing is.
Plus, it doesn't need to be Pokemon Snap. You could even do. I could see them doing just something like an extra mode where you can view your Pokedex in VR.
Yeah,
so you're not actually playing the game, but you're able to say like, "Oh, snap! I can see my Charizard in 3D." Whoa!
Like they do those AR Pokemon games, and they did those on 3DS. And for a long time, I thought that was like the future of Snap. Like the fun part about Snap was being on rails and doing the puzzles, and the AR aspect doesn't bring any of that to it. So, yeah. And then our last one for the night. Do you guys? I forgot to write down who gave us this one. I apologize. I believe somebody. I don't know. I don't want to
I don't think I saw it in Discord.
I don't want. Yeah, it was somebody from work. I think I know who it is. I just don't want to say. Do you guys think we'll ever see Switch OS or eShop improvements? So yeah, this came from a friend of mine at work. I'm jogging my memory now. So he was like, "What's the holdup?" He just bought one, and he's been asking me about it. And I think I've even told him like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that," because they did it on 3DS or Wii U, and yeah, they haven't done anything. This thing really hasn't changed at all. We're working on year 3, and it hasn't changed at all. So, what do you guys think? Do you think we'll ever see a change?
We need to. So we'll start with the OS. I'll dig into that first. So one of the first things we all noticed in the OS when we had that first video leaked showing the Switch OS before the Switch launched, if you remember that, and they had themes, and it was like light and dark, and like, oh, there's totally gonna be new themes. Yeah. We haven't even seen that yet.
No.
Like that
the
needs
themes
to come.
are a problem.
Like, the only updates we've seen is new profile icons you can select. That's really all they've done. So that needs to come. Maybe that's an E3 thing. Hey, here's all the new features. If they do announce the rumored new versions of the Switch, they can announce, hey, here's the new OS that's coming to all of the Switch platforms, the whole family of Switch, things, blah, blah, blah. The eShop, there's been minor updates. I mean, we see the things like the bestsellers and
featured
on sale, featured like
they've done digital only, like indie promotions.
Yeah. It's still a long way, but I'm not as hopeful as seeing improvements there as I am the OS, simply because Nintendo just never seems to invest a lot in what the eShop experience is. It doesn't seem to concern them as much as it should. I think we'll see the OS first. What the holdup is, I have no idea. I think the Switch OS might simply be because of a hardware announcement, and they're just going to say, hey, as this launches, Switch Classic owners will also get this OS update, and here's what it's going to look like, much like Apple does with their announcements. Like, hey, here's the new iPhone coming up. By the way, here's the OS, and it's coming to all of our family of products.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. I was going to say that same thing, that I think maybe with the new hardware rumored, we'll probably see it. eShop, though, I don't go on the eShop like you guys do. I don't do digital as much, so it doesn't faze me as much. And I guess maybe they're thinking for people like me.
See, us common folk that don't have mansions, we look for things called sales. So I go to the on sale section to see how cheap games are.
Save money.
But I've got a backlog that's hundreds of games long already, and I can't.
So on the eShop side, I don't think the eShop is all that bad. I think there's a part of us that are conditioned to like always want more from every eShop because like every eShop isn't like great. But personally, and I'm saying this not necessarily as the Nintendo homer that I am. I'm being serious, having used all of them extensively. I think the Switch eShop is better than the rival competitors. I really do. The Switch eShop is pretty easy to navigate. It's pretty simple. It has, I think, like the big tentpole search features that you want, and it's not like convoluted, right? And I think a large part of that is they're not inundated with the stuff that the other systems have to support. So the other systems have tabs for add-ons and DLCs, and PlayStation still has, like avatars and themes and movies and music and TV shows. Like the Switch doesn't have to deal with any of that. It's just games. So I think that's an advantage that's part of it, for them being easy. But I mean, when you really when I go to the eShop, so this is me making a blanket statement. So this is Donnie. When Donnie goes to the eShop, this is how I think everybody operates. When I go to the eShop, I'm looking for something. Typically, I think that's how most people do. If you're going to the eShop, you're looking for something. What are you looking for? I want to know what games are on sale. That's right there. I want to know what games just came out. It's right there. I want to know the most popular games that people are buying. It's right there. It's all right there with one click. So in that regard, I think it's really good. I think where the Switch eShop gets in trouble, really, what I'd like to see them clean up is their indexing. When you're searching for games, it gets a little difficult. I hate that the Switch eShop sales discounts tab has just become every game. If it were me, I think they should leverage some sort of, you can't do sales on back-to-back weeks, or you can only put your game on sale for 7 out of 30 days or something. They need to have some requirements on it, because what we're seeing now is that these indie games have gotten apt, that it helps with their discovery, and now everything is on sale, and it's on sale for like 5 cents. So it's like the game's $20, but you can get it today for $19.90, and it puts it on the sale page for 10 cents less so people can see it more often. And if I was a game developer, I'd do the exact same thing. They're trying to let you know that their game is there. I don't fault them for doing it. I fault Nintendo for not organizing
filtering
that
it properly.
Yeah, they should filter it better. Or if games have been on sales for more than 1 week, like put them at the bottom. Like all new sales at the top. Like they need to find a way to organize that a little bit more. But to be honest, the eShop experience on Switch isn't so bad. And the Nintendo Game Store Online has gotten really good. So I do a lot of my shopping through the browser.
I was going to combat that because I was about to say the where I find the advantages. You're right; they all have their problems, and none are a great experience on console. I was about to say, but using it Microsoft Online or using Sony Online, I think those online shops are much better than what Nintendo has available on their eShop Online. Personally, but
why?
It's just the format. It's terrible. Like so, I actually so if you want to find deals, top sellers, stuff like that, they don't even have that option on the Nintendo eShop Online. They do on the Switch. So it's like a watered down experience.
On the Game Store, they do. No, platform. They do. I've been there. I go there almost every day.
I was just on it. Just had deals. It doesn't say like your top sellers or anything like that.
Nintendo Game. Yeah, so that's the deals. That's their sales page.
Right, but if I want to see the top sellers, the new releases, and that's the other thing too is the new releases. It's as Super Nintendo says in the chat. It's like 30 games every week. They don't list the actual like. There's no quality control there. Yeah, I guess is what it is. Like it's just terrible. It's like here's every port, and it sounds like I just want to know the big games that release. Like I don't need to know these little mobile ports that are hitting. This just shovelware that we're seeing hit all the time. I think
that's the ultimate thing that we're always asking is that it's very hard to pick and choose who gets promoted and who doesn't. And
right.
I understand that, but like on the thing online, you can hit the new releases. Like there's 40 of them. Like right now this week, I'm just scrolling through. I mean, I'm just saying it's not that bad. It's. I find it much easier to navigate Nintendo's online store and their eShop than, say, Xbox. And I love Xbox. Xbox store is a mess. If you search for a game, you have like 18 listings of the same game because every DLC is listed separately, an add-on, an avatar.
Every backwards compatible version.
There's a 360 version versus the one that's back. I mean, it's a mess. It literally is a mess. So I've never really had that issue with the Nintendo Game Store. Typically, when I'm going there because there's a new release, and it's usually right there on the first page, or it's a discount, and it's right there on the first page, and I get in and I'm out. The only times I've ever really didn't like it is when I'm just kind of browsing. I don't think you go to the Switch eShop to like look around and hang out. It doesn't do that well. And it would be nice because, I guess to support your sentiments, Kevin, the Wii U had a really nice way of doing that with the different tabs and the different consoles, and like the new things, and the 3DS eShop to a lesser extent, but still kind of adopted some of that. I wouldn't mind seeing a splash page or something like that. Would be, pretty cool. Maybe like on the login page, kind of have like a feature game or something like that. I'm really glad that they don't do the virtual console as a part of the eShop. It's something me and Jason talked about. If they ever
what virtual console?
Right. If they ever launched it again, I hope that I said this then. I hope they'd keep it separated.
Yes,
because it
needs
just
to be
gets
separate
too much. 100%. It's too busy. That's going to do it this week, guys. Good show. Thanks, Kevin, for coming by. Since you don't come here often, and for those that listen to Shack, may not listen to PSVG, tell them where they can find more Kevin.
You can find me on Twitter at PSVGKevin, of course, and then I am the host along with my newest cohort in crime, Lucas Rose, on the PSVG Prime, which you can subscribe to if you are on the master feed when you search Play Some Video Games on your favorite podcast service.
Brothers of Destruction. Caroline, do you have anything else?
No, man. Kevin and I do this little shindig on the side called Arcadia Academia, that we don't talk about that much. But yeah, we talked about Animal Crossing this past time, and we're talking about the original Legend of Zelda soon. So come listen.
You guys going to do Link's Awakening before the remaster?
That would be a good idea.
The episode. Probably. Yeah. I would say probably.
Maybe
I think you might actually replay it. I was like, no, I'm waiting until I just go back.
I'd love to do that. I'd love to listen to you guys, maybe get Jason, redo Link's Awakening. I'd love to listen to it and then play the game. That'd be cool. I'd love that preparation. All right, that's it. That's going to do it for us. Good night, Koopalings. Thank you. And we'll see you next week.